Well, hello friends. Welcome back to Browser Hacking. Today we are going to continue working on Discord support in the Serenity OS browser. And my goal for today is to get that checkbox on the server invitation page actually checking. Because in the last video, we did a bunch of stuff to improve checkbox and label support in libweb, but we never actually got the Discord checkbox to check. And I'm talking, of course, about the soon-to-be-seen I accept the terms and conditions and whatnot right here, this checkbox. Because I'm unable to check this at the moment, I cannot progress this sign-up flow. So we are quite blocked on it. So today we're going to sit here until we figure something out and get it to check. And I have a new strategy in mind. So instead of debugging this minified, obfuscated UI here, I thought, why don't we make a small React application, or take a small React application and run it locally, and then try to reproduce this sort of UI here and see if we can reconstruct the problem in a more debuggable environment. Because I suspect that there's something more fundamental going wrong here, and they're using React. We know that already. So it should be maybe possible to find the same type of issue if we just make our own version of the UI. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with React, roughly zero, other than debugging its internals. So I'm just going to get a React example and we will start from there. So how about the emoji search? Sounds fun. Can we see a demo here? Emoji search. All right, so ladybug. Okay, lady beetle. Very cool. Let's see if we can get this thing working in Serenity. And then we have a, I guess this is a regular input element here. Yeah, so we could probably replace it with a checkbox and mess around with that pretty easily, I would think. So let's just clone this thing. And then figure out how to install it or run it or whatever. Okay, well, this looks simple enough. npm install, npm start. I am not very familiar with npm and tools like that, but I can follow basic instructions, hopefully. This seems really foolproof. Like people often say that Serenity OS has good build instructions, but we're not really at this level yet of clarity. It's taking a lot of time for a simple application like that. Maybe this is the this incredible npm dependency bloat that I've been hearing about. I always hear people complaining about, oh, look at that. Well, this is the Git repo, actually. Where does all this stuff go? Node modules. Oh, here it is. Node modules. 306 megabytes. Oh, wow. That's quite something. Okay. I can see why people joke about this. That seems a little bit excessive, but it's okay. It's okay. We're going to be okay. So how do we run it? npm start. Okay, see, if I wasn't paying attention, I would have written npm usage because it would have been symmetrical. But okay, and then this is a local copy of it, and I type lady, and it shows us the ladybug. Very cool. So let's try to do the same thing in Serenity OS. Using our browser, if we can indeed open this page. So host machine, port 3000, and here we are. So, wait, doesn't it load? Oh, it does load, it just doesn't repaint. Okay, well, quick resize made it repaint, so that's good. This is already pretty promising, right? Like we basically loaded the page. We're missing this fork me graphic here. I don't know what that is. Is that a PNG or what is it? Oh, it's wow, this generated content. Okay, with a transform. So all kinds of stuff we don't support. So the fork me thing is not going to show up until we implement CSS transforms and before and after pseudo elements. Definitely not doing that right now, but we should be able to type into this thing and learn or notice that nothing happens. So cool. That's actually extremely good because that means that we have a simple React application that doesn't work correctly, and this should be significantly easier to debug than the Discord UI. So let's take a look at the source code for this thing. What am I doing? So source. Right here, search input.js, all right? Okay, so they make some class called search input, which is some kind of pure component. And it has a handle change event handler or something, and a render function that produces the markup, I guess. And here is our input element, and it has some kind of binding or whatever to this .handle change. I don't know the terminology in React, so if you do, then forgive me for calling things the wrong thing. So let's see, let's log something here in the handle change. Handle change, log the event also. Okay, so bringing up the console, and then let's type something. Hello. All right, so console.log totally works. Printf debugging is going to save the day. Note that the development build is not optimized. Great, that's great. Note that our CPU usage is spiking. That's the, we've been having a lot of client-side CPU spinning recently. I feel like it started with the recent changes to our core streaming APIs. Been seeing a lot of request server CPU spinning, but anyway, nothing that a quick reboot can fix. So let's type into the thing, and we get nothing on the debug console. So cool. We are not calling this thing, I guess. Okay. So can we figure out how it gets called? I think one easy-ish way to do that would be to, can we just inspect and see what kind of event listeners we have here on change? Oh, it says React here. Oh, that's kind of cool. Wait, does that mean Firefox understands React concepts? That's pretty nifty. So we open this into debugger, and then what? I don't do a lot of JavaScript debugging like this, so bear with me. Let's see. So here's this thing. So can I just put a breakpoint by clicking there maybe? And then I type something, and it breaks right here. Okay, great. And then how do I see the call stack? Oh, wait, it's like it disappears when the window is not wide enough. Also, Firefox is just flickery as heck. Anyway. So this is our breakpoint that we made. Okay, and then here's the call stack. Wait. Oh, that's so cool. Look at that. The call stack, the collapse known React frames. That's so nifty. I guess, and then if you want to look into them, you can just expand them. But if you're not debugging React itself, you can just be like, oh, I don't care. Just show me React. That's really cool. So how do they dispatch these things though? So we start out in dispatch discrete event, discrete updates, run with priority, blah, 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 React internals, this and that. Wow, this thing, a lot of abstraction layers here. Run events in batch and blah, blah, blah. Dispatch event for legacy plugin event system. So based on the names here, like batch, run events in batch and things like that, batched event updates, I sort of get the hunch that they are batching multiple events and then packaging them, and then like some other subsystem runs them. So we're probably not seeing directly what led to the interpretation of the change event here. But I know what we can do. Now that we have a debuggable version, let's do something that would be pretty tedious to do, I guess. Or actually, can we just step through this thing? I was gonna like print out every function that gets called, but maybe we can just step through it for the same effect. So for that, we would have to break on. Can you break on a DOM event? Break on a keyboard event? Or what is it? Control event? Change. Okay, so let's break on change. Cool. Okay. Oh wait, that was my breakpoint there actually. Wait, it's not breaking on the change event? So what's the event then? Maybe a keyboard? Input? Okay. What did we break on? How do I know what we're breaking on? I can't tell. I mean, I assume it's the input event. I feel like it should tell me what type of event we just broke on. But maybe I can look at it. Top level type input. Okay, so that's probably it. Type input. Yeah, okay, sure. Not the most straightforward way. I would feature it in the UI, but whatever. Okay, so we get the event and we're here. And then how do we step? Can we step into blah, blah, blah. Oh, there's so much stuff here. Okay, yeah, I'm probably gonna skip over something and miss it. So the original idea I had of like just dump out every call, every function call that we make. I think that would just give us like a list of all the functions that get called in the order they get called, and then we can just look at that and maybe divine or notice something that sounds suspicious, let's say. Internal call, ECMAScript function object. Yeah, so this is like JavaScript functions that are defined in source code rather than internally in our engine. So here, let's just print out JS call and the function name. Name. Okay, this is going to get very, very noisy here, but let's see. Let's see if we can find something interesting this way. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so I really just care about typing FFF. Okay, there's a whole lot of stuff here. Okay, back up. Let me just go ahead and let's log something when we dispatch the event so that we know where each individual event starts. And we'll log it in color for all to see. Some juicy green, perhaps. Dispatch event. Event type. All right. Yeah, this will make it much easier to see. Okay, so what are we getting? We had key up and key up. Oh wait, are we only sending key up events for checkboxes? Oops. Well, that might be why it doesn't work. That's probably why nothing happens. Or part of it. Yeah, right. Who would send a change event? There's no code for that. So let's see. So how does this work? Let me do a quick DOM dump here so we can see the DOM tree. Very happy DOM tree with all those emojis. So here is our input element. And for text inputs, we have a user agent shadow root. So this shadow root is not visible to content, but it's internal to the engine. And we have a secret div here that's editable inside of the input element. And that's what you're typing into. So I think we need to set up some kind of mechanism where editing this text node inside of this div causes a change event to get fired on this input. So let's see. Let's just do that in the most straightforward way possible. So in the input element, we make a DOM text somewhere right here. Yeah, so create shadow tree if needed. This is where we're constructing the secret div inside here that you saw, inside of a new DOM shadow root. So for this, how about we just say for the text node, like we come up with something like set owner input element, right? This, something like that. Okay, and then we give text some thingy for that. So set owner input element. Maybe we'll put that out of line, and let's have a way to access it. And we also need to avoid a reference cycle here. So let's use a weak pointer to the input element. Yeah, this is kind of weird factoring. It's more like a stopgap. Probably there's a more spec-friendly way to implement this, but let's just do something very basic just to get events firing. So text set owner input element. Something like that. Okay. And then in order to fire something here, let's look at handle key down. So handle key down. Let's see if we have if we have a selection, then we wipe the selection and insert there. Otherwise, if we have a valid cursor position, then we do stuff, insert there. There's a lot of different variants here. Everybody calls to edit event handler, handle insert. And in the end, he says did edit. Ah, okay, so did edit. Let's take advantage of this thing, because I assume everybody calls this, right? Like did edit. Yeah, so it's called at the end of these editing helpers. So if we are here and we're editing a text node, let's see, cursor position, node, if we have a cursor node, and if it's a DOM text node. Then, oh, missing a paren here. Okay, sure. And we want to access the owner input element. So if input element is the owner input element, then now is our time to shine. Input element, dispatch event. Then we want to make a change event. Event names change. This guy right here. Well, we probably want to make an input and a change event. Okay, let's just look at the spec. Spec input. This is not going to be completely on spec, but it'll get us a step closer at least. Let's see how this thing works. If type is text, then let's see, if the element is mutable, allow you to change blah blah blah. Wait, this is if you change the writing direction. Event named input. When do you fire these events? For input elements without a defined input activation behavior. I assume that includes text then, because it didn't mention anything. Blah, blah, blah. Then when the user changes the element's value, the user agent must queue an element task on the user interaction task source given the input element to fire an event named input at the input element with the bubbles and composed attributes initialized to true. And anytime the user commits the change, the user agent must queue an element task on the user interaction task source given the input element to fire an event named change at the input element with the bubbles attribute initialized to true. That's a long sentence. Okay. And I didn't even read it from the start. All right. So we want to, let's see. For the specific case here. So when you type, you're changing the value of an input element here. So you're just typing, and we need to fire the input event straight away, but the change thing should only happen when you commit. I don't exactly know what commit means in the context of a text box. I wonder if it's like, if you press enter or like unfocus the thing or something. Text input might not have an explicit commit step. Okay, let's not read too much into it. Let's just focus on getting some events out. So what was I just reading? I was just reading about event named input. Yes. So let's see. Queue an element task. On the what was it? The user interaction task source, right? User interaction task source, yes. And the task will be, what do we capture here? I guess we'll capture the input element itself. Or wait, does this do that for me? I feel like I wrote this function so that it does this for me. Queue an element task. Yes, it captures this strongly. That's very nice of it. Okay, so then I don't have to think about that. And I can just focus on doing the event dispatch. So I wanted to have an input with bubbles and composed true. And is that what we already have for checkboxes? Input with bubbles and composed true. Yeah. All right, so it's going to be a little bit of code duplication here. Kind of silly. Maybe we should delegate this to we could actually do this. Input element did edit text node. Yeah, let's do that. And then we can write the code inside HTML input element instead. That would be slightly nicer. Let's see. Okay. Did edit text node, sure. So this is a common event behavior. So I guess we can link to that here. Note, this is a bit ad hoc, but basically implements part of common event behaviors. Yeah. Okay, and then we wanted to do this event right away. The input event with bubbles when composed. And then on commit, we want to do the change event. And I'm not sure exactly when that goes out. So maybe we don't actually need the change event at this very moment. Let's see, HTML input element in text.cpp. Oh, I just need to include HTML input element here. set owner input element. I'm using it wrong, not passing a badge. Sure. So it feels a bit like I got sidetracked by the text input instead of investigating checkboxes, but I feel like maybe there's some commonalities here. We'll see. But I know we're definitely not firing the change event. But now I added the input event, but I'm still not doing the change. Okay, let's just like crap out a change event at the same time where we're doing the input event, even though that's maybe not actually what when you're supposed to do it. Because the whole point of the exercise was to produce a change event, not necessarily an input event, right? So let's just note fix me. This should only go out, only fire when the input is committed, whatever that means. Yeah, okay, so but we can still make them for now and see if this changes anything about the emoji search thing. So, all right, here we go. Oh, look at all these JS calls. Can we get it cleaned out? All right. Lady, still nothing. Key up, change, input. All right, so these events, at least we're generating the events. So let's put this into a separate commit here before we make more of a mess. Let's see. libweb fire input and change event when editing text input. This isn't entirely on spec, but well, hopefully to make progress in other areas. Okay. So what's happening though? Like, why is nothing? Let's see. So when the change event is dispatched, then these are all the JavaScript functions that get called. So updates, get event target, attempt dispatch event, get event target, should use change event. Okay, should use change event. Are you perhaps returning no? Can we find that somewhere in the emoji code? Should use change event. Are we rejecting it for some reason? Okay, well, this was not very grep friendly. Or, okay, in node modules, React DOM. Function should use. Okay, I don't know what CJS versus UMD is. CJS versus UMD. What are them? What are them? What are they? CommonJS versus asynchronous module definition versus universal module definition. Okay, so these are what, like flavors of something? Anyways, I'll just pick the top one, whatever. Because I'm more interested in just reading what this thing does, right? So should use change event. Okay. So we get a change event, and then we check if we request the element node name, which would be input in our case, and then we lowercase it. Yeah, so it's uppercase input because node name is uppercase by default, and then they lowercase it. Sure. And then check if it's select or if it's input and type file. Wait, what? So they only care about change event on input elements if it's type file? Wait, why? Okay, so this returns false then. And then we were calling is text input element. So we're checking if it's a text input. And if so, we do something. So what does this thing check then? They fetch the node name, lowercase it, check for input. Okay, so we are on input, or if it's text area, we also say true. Okay, so for input, we check if supported input types contains elem.type. Sure. And then that's just this dictionary object right here. We check for text. If so, true. It's a text input. Wait. And then we call should use click event. Should use click event. So this is all about setting up the get target inst func, which we would then call here if we set one. So which one gets set here? If this one, or this one, or this one, then we call extract events. None of these are called extract events. Oh wait, this is extract events? That's the one I'm in? All right. Oh yes, it's being called here. And then blah, 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 blah. And then we call it again. So I get the impression that none of these paths are taken here. But this one should definitely be taken. Is text input element. So let's see, are we screwing something up here? So let's verify node name is input and type is text. That's not the JavaScript console. That's the JavaScript console. Okay, so document.query selector input dot node name input. So far so good. Type undefined. Wait, why? Why is it undefined? Let's check here. Document query selector input dot type is text. All right, so that's probably not helping us. Why is it like that? Do we let me dump out the DOM here. Take a look at that input element. Oh, it's just input like this. And maybe I guess if we probably just reflect the attribute, but maybe it's spec'd to not be strictly reflecting, but like have some kind of a fallback. States of the type attribute. Can we learn more about the input type semicolon? Okay, so this is the type attribute right here. It's an regular mutable attribute, type ideal attribute must reflect the respective content attribute of the same name, limited to only known values. Okay, so if a reflecting ideal attribute is a DOM string attribute and it's limited to only known values, then on getting, it must return the keyword value associated with the state the attribute is in, if any, or the empty string if the attribute is in a state that has no associated keyword value, or if the attribute is not in a defined state. For example, the attribute is missing and there is no missing value default. So, okay, so what I hear in this instance is that we need to have a little bit of special handling for the type. So it's probably, I imagine that in our IDL here, we probably we probably don't say, oh, we didn't even declare it. Okay, all right, so let's just declare it then. Attribute DOM string type. And then it was even simpler than I thought. Type right here. So it was just completely unimplemented. Set type string const, sure. So this will be a start. We're not gonna do all kinds of validation and stuff right now. We're just gonna do the very, very basic. If the attribute is missing, then it's text, because that is the default input type. And I'm sure that there's a much, much nicer way to express all this in the spec, but one step at a time here. So set type, we will simply do set attribute type, sure. Okay, so auto. And then if we don't have a value set, we return text. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we'll try out. So let's see how that goes. Because then at least it should take that path and consider this a text input event target. And then we'll see where it ends up after that, but at least that should do something. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, dude, it's filtering. All right, it works. That's really cool. So we've been able to filter down to the fabulous Lady Beetle. That's really nice. Can we get oh, this is really laggy with all the spam in the background. Can we get a bison? A bison emoji, that would be cool. Oh, they don't have it here. Oh, maybe it's too new or something. Anyway, that's awesome. So that works actually. Let's see if we can commit something just here. So let's see. Yeah, we should add a fix me about this. This should only reflect known values. And I guess this should only accept known values? I don't know, actually. Probably it doesn't need to do anything on the setter, so I'll leave the setter alone, but yeah, this is an issue. And I'm not completely sure about the setter, but anyway. add the HTML input element dot type attribute. This makes React react to change events on input, text input elements. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's, I guess, let's see if this actually fixed the issue on Discord. Because, oh wait, no, why would it? Because I only, well, it doesn't matter about like the text box producing events, but in this case, HTML input element dot type, maybe that's the thing that was missing for them to react to the checkbox as well. Also, this is just way too much spam. I should probably compile that out. Yeah, and these function names are not not very helpful to us anyway on Discord, right? Because of the minification. But I'm curious if that, just by exposing HTML input element dot type, if that actually fixes the issue on Discord that we were seeing. And of course it's hangs. Let's load that in the background, and maybe we can edit the emoji app to have a checkbox. So what, can we just add a checkbox here? Like input type checkbox on change this dot handle checkbox. All right. And what if we just log something here? So console.log handle check box. All right, very fancy. And yeah, this doesn't work. Doesn't do anything. If I type into the username field, at least we're producing input and change events. So that is progress somehow, I guess. But we still need this guy right here, because this guy is producing change events, I think, or is he? Yes, it is producing change events and input events, but no reaction. Okay. All right, so let's test locally again with, did this give us a checkbox? Okay, here it is. Okay. And that comes out down here. Oops. Oh, dang it. I have to disable the stopping on DOM events because I don't want that right now. And clickety, handle checkbox. Yep. Okay, so let's see if that shows up on in the Serenity browser if we point it at our fabulous application. Okay, spam. Look at that checkbox. It's so incredibly wide. Why is it so wide? Okay, that looks really doofy. But okay, so stuff is happening. There's so much spam here, but I don't see anything coming on the JS console. So it's supposed to say, wait, where did I save that file? So this guy should say handle change when we handle the change. Did we verify that? I mean, we saw the UI updating, but we never actually checked for the okay, so now I put something into it. Key up, message, change. There's so many function calls. Oh my goodness. JS log. Okay. Yeah, it's right here. Handle change. So this thing actually comes out, but handle checkbox does not. Great. So let's click on the checkbox and then look through what happens. So we have an input event comes in and then a bunch of stuff. Get event target. So that's where we were last time. We were looking at event target for the text input. Get event target, get closest instance, blah, 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 top level, something or other, extracted plugin events. Extract events. That's the thing we were messing around inside, right? Extract event. So this is in response to input. Should use change event. Okay, so we're here again. Should use change event. And that was only true for select and input type file, as I recall. And this was only true for text input fields to have some kind of text component. And then, wait, should use click event. What's that about? Maybe React is like choosing to only listen for specific events on specific input types because of, I don't know, like whatever compatibility reason. Let's take a look at it. So node modules, and then it was called should use click event. What does that check? Use the click event to detect changes to checkbox and radio inputs. This approach works across all browsers, whereas change does not fire until blur in IE8. Okay, so it sounds a bit like it's a compatibility hack for IE8. And who calls this? It was at the end of this thing right here when we're deciding what strategy to use, I guess, for this particular input element. So should use click event is true if node name is input and it's either a checkbox or a radio. So the way I read this is that they're going to ignore our change and input events and wait for a click event instead. Which we do not produce, I guess. So what if we did? If the input element, when you toggle it, that's kind of weird though. Because what if you change it programmatically? But I guess then they don't want to know about it. If you tab to it with the keyboard and then activate it with the enter key, like does that cause a click event? I don't know. Anyway, let's, just for the sake of testing this quickly, let's produce a click event. Run activation behavior, blah, blah, blah. So here, like what if we just, let's just hack it, right? So we just hack one in here and then we can do it nicely if this happens to work. DOM event create event names click. Yeah, let's just make a click event. It's not even the correct event type, but Let's see if that makes React react to the event. Clicky, clicky. No, it doesn't work. Okay. Well, we're making the click event, but he doesn't care. I guess I expected that to change something. So let's dump out the let's dump out all the function calls and see what else gets called then. I wonder if it's expected in a different order, maybe? Maybe I'm supposed to send the click event before the other guys? Actually, let me test that real quick. I could imagine that it expects to see click before the others. All right now. Okay, here comes the click. And did we get a JS log? We did not. Okay, so we get the dispatch event click. Oh, straight up, nobody cares. Like nothing happens in response to it. But, so maybe there's no listener even. Only for input and change. That's kind of interesting. So I guess I would have thought somebody was listening to the click event. Maybe I'm misreading that situation. Click. Or, oh wait, is it because I'm not making it bubble? Maybe the listener isn't on the input element. Set bubbles true. Okay. Now I'm getting a little bit paranoid here. I guess we should look up how click events actually fire. It's a UI events thing, right? Click. Click. Okay, so when we made it bubble, then at least something gets called in response to it. And then a bunch of stuff. Oh, check it out. Okay, handle checkbox. All right, so if we just make checkboxes produce a click event that has bubbles true, then it will bubble up to whoever in React is registered to listen for that event, and we end up in the right handler. So great. And what would be the right way to do this? I guess this is not the right place to do this, because this is when you do the activation. I guess technically the right place is the we already produce click events somewhere else. Handle mouse up. Yeah, we're supposed to make a click event here, but I guess we don't end up here because the checkbox layout node steals the event. Yeah, so it's we allow layout nodes to hijack the incoming event because, for example, buttons, like if you click down on a button, then we don't want to keep sending mouse move events to the rest of the page until you actually mouse up on the button again and stuff like that. So we allow layout nodes to hijack the event flow. And I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do that in a nice way here. So I think maybe what we'll do is we'll just, since checkbox hijacks the event flow, the way you hijack the event flow, by the way, is that you override once mouse events and then you return true in your layout node subclass. And then you will get these callbacks, handle mouse down, mouse up, and mouse move. So in mouse up here, let's see. So if you mouse up inside the node or label, then let's see. That's when we cause it to toggle. So in that case, I think this is where we can produce the click event as well. So let's see. Let's just tell the DOM node. We have did click button. Well, we can say like what does did click button do actually? Did click button. It produces a click event for buttons. Oh, nice. Okay, so I guess we can do a similar thing for checkbox then. A little bit hackish, but it should be okay for now. Yeah, did click checkbox. We will just copy this. And a checkbox cannot have a submit type, obviously, so we don't need this logic right here. And then it says that it should be a pointer event, which I don't think we have that. Pointer event. Yeah, we don't have that interface implemented, and maybe we can just ignore it and leave it like this here as well. So did click checkbox. That seems fine. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if this works. That would be really cool. That would be super cool, actually. Wait. Oh. He doesn't care. Oh, right, because I didn't set bubbles. I didn't set bubbles. All right. Click event. Should probably set this one to bubble as well, the one that we produce for the buttons, but I'm not going to touch that right now. I'm just going to ignore. Ignore that. Yeah, look at those. Handle checkbox. So that totally works. That's so cool. All right, let's try it out on Discord. That would be so sweet if that works. So let's see. Let's commit this. Make input type checkbox, fire click events when clicked. Okay, this has hung. Let's start over. And also let me actually add a little note here. This makes React react to checkboxes. Apparently they have an IE8 compat hack. They ignore the change event in favor of click on checkboxes. This is a compatibility hack for IE8. Okay, that still doesn't work. Nothing, at least nothing happens to the checkbox. Oh, but I guess the checkbox itself, it's still zero sized because I still haven't debugged that issue. Checkbox. Yeah, right here. So it's still a zero sized checkbox. So I can't actually click on it. I'm clicking on the label. So that probably means I need to forward. Wait, how did that work again? There's a label mouse down thing. Associated label mouse down, associated label mouse up. When we get an associated label mouse up, then we toggle the checked state. So let's do the same thing right here. DOM node did click checkbox. Yeah, let's do the same thing there. If you're clicking on a label, we should be able to oh wait, I didn't actually make a label in my test page. Where is the test code? Let's wrap this bad boy in a label. Bad boy label wrapper. Cool. And then okay, so there's the label right here. Clicking on the label updates the checkbox. Updates the checkbox here too, but does it prints out the thing. Okay, so that works. Let's test it on Discord. Also, the checkbox on the test page got smaller now for some reason. Something is definitely going wrong with checkbox layout and sizing. Have to investigate that later, but right now we are looping infinitely again, it seems. So let's just reboot. These infinite loops are getting a little bit like concerning, almost like I need to look at them. But not right now, because we are in the zone. So come on now. I feel like this is gonna work. I have a good feeling. Clicky, clicky, clicky. Ooh, look at that. Oh, we got the little checky. There it is. All right. Man, let me get the magnifier and zoom in on that thing. Look at it. It's checked. Oh, it's so incredibly checked and unchecked. It's not completely centered, but come on. That's close enough. It actually works. That's so cool. Oh man. Okay, so it seems like we are having some problems with React expecting specific events from us, and we were not producing the correct events. And now that we do, this form actually starts to behave. That's really awesome. And what if I click continue here? Okay, I mean, that thing doesn't work. But that's a problem for another day. Today, the goal was to get the frickin' checkbox to check. And my goodness, it does check. So, achievement was had. Fantastic. Let's commit that last thing. The web, make checkboxes. Make checkboxes. Or you know what? I'm gonna squash that into the previous commit. Actually, just amend it. Yeah, because it's part of that. Okay, so it works. we made progress. Fantastic. Then this will be the end of the video. So if you made it this far, then I thank you for watching and for hanging out. I hope that you saw something interesting here today. I certainly had an educational experience, and it was pretty straightforward to find the problem once we could see like the full names of things and being called in React. Because, you know, so much easier when you can see what some human called a function rather than EB or AF or whatever. And all of the fixes were very reasonable, right? Like, we've improved our browser. We didn't do any like site-specific hacks here. We just improved our browser to act more like a browser. So it's very, very good. And we'll, of course, have to make these things more spec compliant going forward. But as a first step, just to get the basic functionality rolling, very, very good. So that's it for the video. I'm very happy with the result. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.